Hello, everyone. I'm your host, as always, Star Drago. Welcome this time with my casting buddy, Cherry J. Give yourself a bit of a quick introduction, and then I'll break down the maps we have today.
Yeah, we already are coming right back on in with the semifinals for the Axis series. Really nice work from these teams to be able to compete to get on in. And we got to some two challengers right here, and these are two teams I'm personally familiar with. I got to see them just a couple weeks ago. I'm not sure if you're there for that one, but it is going to be that valid unit taking the stage once more. We've seen them making some strides over in the Eon series. Now that they're coming on through for the Axis, let's see whether or not they'll put up the same level of dominance as their challengers, their opponents. The team to rival them today will also be no small team as well. They're known, they're big. It's going to be the ENISORAIL roster to match them up on stage. So the semifinals matchup should be electric. We'll have to wait and see, Drago, but we should be heading on sooner rather than later.
I am happy to hear you say that, but before that, I want to see the brackets. You've already mentioned it. I missed last week, so I want to see where we head into next. We've got Valid Unit, as you said, versus and Surreal on this stream, but then we have Soul Heart UK versus Devil Black EU going on in the upper bracket semi across. Just playing alone. They just didn't want to have it streamed today. Then you've got upper bracket, lower bracket, promotional knockout, and grand finals. If you're not expecting it, today, tomorrow, and all the way to Sunday is going to be a lot of siege. Yes, if you're at community land and you're paying attention to this as well, thank you. Make sure to share with all your buddies because you're in for some good siege, as well as some very interesting yet questionable moments, because that's what it's all about here at Access Series. These are teams that are trying to show their best up, get that account, and grab the bread, grab the bag, depending on how you choose it. But let's go right into the next part of let's look at the teams themselves. Valid unit, 68% win rate, best map apparently Chalet, and worst map Night Haven Labs. Don't get me wrong, losing one isn't great, but it happens. Mello being the captain, if you don't know, he is currently disqualified from Eon itself, but he can still partake in this. So him being the captain of the team, actually being able to play this time, will be a great sense of relief for the team. So I'm actually kind of excited to see what he can do with his team. I'm going to ask you to take over for the next team since you were such a great influence for the last part.
Yeah, I'm also kind of in that curious of how Melo's going to be able to fit into the roster as they haven't been playing for a little bit. But over on the other side, we look towards Ennis Arail, Coween as the captain, and you look towards the rest of the team. Specifically, I want to redirect your eyes over towards Yellowst. This was a player who certainly was putting up numbers when I last saw them. So I am kind of having some high expectations on how they'll be able to kind of perform within the semifinals against the Valid Unit squad. So at a 68% win rate over for the Valid unit, taking on a team with a little bit of a lower one, down to 61. Not the biggest difference, but it may possibly influence how they might be approaching it, right? Will they be coming in with confidence over for Valid units, assuming that because of that 7% higher win percentage, they might have a little bit more of an advantage, or will it just be both teams on their toes, right? They see both teams having that 60% on that win percentage, so it kind of makes you wonder, right? How does that kind of segment into what will be actually seen, right? So the Fortress being their best map, Bank being their worst. I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, we're actually going to be seeing Bank being played today.
Well, we'll have to go see. Let's go have a look see at the map pool, see where we're heading to. Clubhouse, Bank, and Layer are going to be our setup this time. If you're not expecting it, Bank and Clubhouse can play very similarly if teams start to be looking at EML, looking at Pro League for inspiration. There's some nice and interesting rat strats or direct rush strats that are now being used to their fullest ability. With those new operators such as Snake and Denari being shown in Pro League now, a lot of people are finding interesting stuff and how overpowered certain operators can be. Layer, though, being the deciding for Valid unit, they have something because both these teams chose to ban out Chalet and Fortress early, meaning that removing Nighthaven Labs wasn't a choice by, hey, where do we want to go? Do we want to let one side of it through? Because Clubhouse, Nighthaven Labs, very similar maps. But from what I can hear, it sounds like we're only waiting for a couple players to hop in a lobby. I'm going to ask you a very quick question then. when it comes to Clubhouse, do you agree with the like status quo that not even Labs and Clubhouse or the same map, just one's updated?
I don't think so. I think that it's going to come down to a lot of that play style, right? You allowed these two to come in, and yes, they might be similar in a lot of aspects. However, the identicality is not going to be there, right? That's not really the case for any map, even if it is just the way that the colors do look, right? If you're playing with a crosshair of a certain type, maybe it's red, maybe it's white, maybe it's black. If it blends into the background, that's still a bit of a change, right? So I guess it's similar, but if you're gonna say it's identical, I think that's a very broad
No, no, I
broad.
can say they're very similar. Identical, no, but now I also got a question of what colors your crosshair that you're blending in with things.
What do you mean? No, like white, black, red. There's
No, what
definitely a lot of
crosshair color do you use? Just you
what
personally.
crosshair do I use?
Yes.
I use right now I'm running a light blue one.
Okay, I don't know why I assumed it was
Yes,
gonna be like
yes.
magenta, purple or
No, no,
something.
no.
But
I mean
no,
that doesn't really blend into anything.
for me, I'm gonna say mine, if I remember correctly, is white, but like I'm gonna put opacity like 60%. I'm okay with my crosshair blending
Oh.
in. I know where the center of my screen is, but maybe that's just the difference of experience. Jokes aside, though, we have a really good match coming up. I'm really excited for it. I'm sure you guys are too. We're waiting for two players to load in, so we'll head to a quick break, and then we'll head to the first map. We'll load in and catch you all in a sec. And welcome back, everyone. We've loaded in here to Clubhouse. If you don't know it, you've got to. I'm gonna say you got to visit Cash Room. It's a great place to hide and rat strat with a smoke shotgun. But as we're heading into this, what operators do you want to see banned? I'm looking for an Asami banned for the first time.
We are just going to kind of get on through. I don't personally have any expectations coming into this. Obviously, I've seen both these teams, but I don't really know exactly how they'd like to play against each other, right? Do you want to punish some maybe one tricks that you know your opponent does have underway, or are you going to look to just kind of play that standard? And so, Valid Unit, they're coming on through. They're making their choices. They're taking their chances over on ENISORAIL. You see that Ace as well getting taken in, and I don't know. I don't know. Star Drago, do you have any kind of personal thoughts on what we are seeing, or are we just going to be expecting, that standard coming through from both teams?
Um, well, a bit more on the side of I am expecting a good standard. One, they're good players. Two, I'm expecting Mello to actually be able to bring his team to victory, as well as Cohen to, yes, yap like you can see he's doing now, but also for him to keep his head in the game, not just tilt his opponents off and keeping his team calm and relaxed going into this. You've already mentioned about the fact that there's some really good standout players in this. I'm going to say, you said Eunice. I'm going to say Smarty, actually. I would love to see what Smarty and Rolljoyce could do when let off the leash, really, because I've seen the players in their own paths, just meeting them ranked, things like that. So wanting to see them play this as well as Face It shows a lot of integrity in what I believe these players can do. But again, all of that gets put into question right now as we are going into Clubhouse for the first map. 6 picks are finished. The quick switch from Snake to Ram, though, actually caught me off guard because now you have Switch, Grim, Deimos. Deimos only having Jaeger and Lamai trackable. And he gets the shot through the little picks on the peak on the window. And that's a Sammy gone. She only got to put down 2 keepers before getting taken out. That's unfortunate.
And so far, Valid Unit going to be allowing themselves to be going up 1-0. And it's ENISORAIL. 2 minutes and 30 seconds still on the clock. And they're already down a player in this round number 1. So how will Valid Unit like to approach this? That kind of becomes the question mark they'll be asking themselves. And ENISORAIL just looking to kind of divide themselves across the map, while Valid Unit, you see a lot of these players sticking together. Outskirts are theirs to control, and as of now, with the information looking to be gathered, not going to make any connections. Spotting players out will not come through, but that is actually the first player seen.
You're right with that. The one thing that's going to make me quite sad right now is the fact that that Twitch drone missed not only a lot of beepers, a lot of my utility, and the Jaeger ADSs. Again, yes, Twitch only has so many shots on her drone, but they recharge over time, so you only shoot one, you play it safe, you go back and forth. Taking out the red pipe's smart, but you want to give a ping of what's on the walls, what locations are necessary. Because again, any one of Grim's B's or a lot of utility can get caught, like Twitch's own smoke grenades. You don't want to have that getting caught if you're planning to go for a full drop execute here, like we're about to see. One thing though, I'm kind of surprised that this team, they're taking it slow. We're seeing a bit more drone work than I'm used to with these sort of teams. So I'm actually really happy to see it. The only problem is all of those ADSs, all of those all that utility is going to be put into question. But never mind, the F2 doing absolute work, getting the first pick and a second for Old Joyce. Owen though trying to clutch it up, but now it's all Smarty to try and stay alive in a 1v4 situation. He gets the diffuser dropped. He just has to succeed and get out of there. He dances around the bullets on his exit chance. But now he's in a 2v1 close, goes for the type, he gets it, beautiful pick. Plant is now set. It's a 2v1, diffuser's down. How close can you make this? You've got the intel. Your teammates have given you some sort of knowledge, but that Deimos tracker is actually going to be a bigger problem than you think it is. The fact that he chose to close up the rotation hole is smart, but it's going to be a bit of a backfire now. He's going to have to fight and look for the angles, but Deimos has a better track than you do, and he's going to take this round.
Yeah, they found 2 kills for their troubles, but unfortunately, Smarty not able to take the clutch underway. Valid Unit goes up 1-0, and it's ENISORAIL. Let's see how they're going to be able to approach this. As Valid Unit, they're a team who we've consistently seen being able to make comebacks out of nowhere. So if they can turn it around here and now and start off on the front foot and continue doing that into the second half once going towards defense, it should be their game to control. The defense might be a little bit more proactive on a map like this, as it should be a little bit more prioritized. So Valid Unit, they're looking for as many rounds as possible. And with this opener going their way, that certainly should be a nice start to kind of kickfire them up into a high round deficit.
All right, I'm going to hold you to that. I'm just going to have to ask one small point then. If you're expecting round deficit, I'm expecting a Valid Unit to just roll steamroll time and again. I'm expecting a better defense this time, but I'm also expecting a stronger attack because of the fact we're going upstairs. Everyone knows there's very straightforward rush strat you can bring, very direct approaches you can make, and as we've seen, these teams don't have a problem with bringing shields. They don't have a problem with bringing any sort of utility to try and back up their plays. The biggest issue is there's a lot less passive gadgets this time around. So I'm kind of hoping that stall tactics, whatever tactics they have, are going to be used to their fullest right now. Last time, a first quick shot, though, from Vacuum was more than enough to take out the Asami. Let's just hopefully see what he can find next.
So far, just getting aggressive instantaneously. Valid Unit going to be approaching, and their shots fired. Going to be heard by ENISORAIL with a couple players nearby able to detect. So far, though, not peeking involved. It is still going to be Valid Unit with 5 players all healthy. On the other side, ENISORAIL, same situation. However, the space that they're giving up is going to turn into Valid Unit's playground. Are they able to contain this game right underway? How will ENISORAIL respond? Do they continually just take the static positioning, not really looking for anything too proactive, or will they be able to make something out of this game? The answer, no, as Mellow The captain of the roster of Valid Unit will send their first kill on round number 2, giving them a bit of a lead.
That is a good advantage to have. Having that man count is exactly what's needed. The only problem is, as you can see, Snake's can be able to give a call out of everybody's exact locations. Not as strong as a ping system, but it's still a good amount of intel. If everyone remembers the old days of Lion, it's similar to that, and this is where the problem comes with Blackbird. Just keeps getting smoked out of position. He's lucky enough to be able to hold his breath before that smoke grenade gets detonated, though, so he'll be able to force his way out without taking any damage. But here comes the problem. Not a lot of time on your side, and you've got to force your way, and the beeper goes off. Asami gets taken out finally at last, but Miller gets caught in the crossfire. It fits getting a pick of his own, takes down Smart. It becomes a 1v3. Have to prep, watching not only the doors but the windows, but he's going to push up way too early and get taken out by that Capital.
Valid
It's
Unit
so close.
looking good. Star Drago, it certainly does seem as if this ENISORAIL roster is yet to find an answer. These first picks consistently get taken by Valid Unit, and they don't stop there. They're able to continuously push forward, taking extra kills, and until the ENISORAIL is going to have their number, they'll continue to be able to make this happen. I'm specifically looking at players like Mello and Tile as these two initiators who are able to facilitate these engagements in the favor of Valid Unit, where they are the ones taking first engagements and taking those damages. If they can continue to put forth the same level of aggression, then ENISORAIL is really going to have to rethink their plans coming into this BO3, as we are only in the semifinals, right? You have a lower bracket that you might have to play in, but at that point, you're going to have to make a full lower bracket run through lower bracket, then to lower finals, then to grands. That's 3 wins in a row if you lose here.
Well, that's true. You have to go for an uncontested Hail Mary send, which, don't get me wrong, we've seen it in esports time and again. The lower bracket run versus strong teams, and then the underdog story. We love to see it as a storytelling trope, but it's such a big risk, not only to yourselves, but to your opponents. I'm going to ask you a quick question, though. Do you think either of these teams is something that they could ever be knocked out, really? Because looking at the bracket we've seen earlier, no. I'm going to expect that one of these teams will make it all the way to that final round and try to take it.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me, I'd say that this would be the grand finals right here. Just because of the fact that these are the two teams who I've consistently heard of. Over on the other side of the bracket, just to repeat, it was 2 teams, I believe. Oh man.
I'll tell you, don't worry, just focus on the fact that we've got a great matchup. You've got Soulheart UK and Devil Black. They're still playing, but right now, you gotta remember, Devil Black had to send their own boys home to secure that position, so it's gonna be tough for both these teams. But as that drone's gonna spot out Castle, he's not actually gonna be able to see it. I'm hoping Ash understands. Even if she tries to jiggle pick, it's not gonna be enough. That Bravo Kluger drone gets out of there safely. Here's the big problem. That's not only some intel, that is a lot of utility just going by safely. Ash is gonna be able to pinch off Castle and prep and wait for it. The clash has now been spotted. Walls open and soft. Hold on, the clash survives? No, Sammy actually ends up going down there. Vacuna getting the angle. That's the Maverick just barely catching her toes off, which is exactly what's needed. Now they've got a good chance of being able to push in without too many concerns. Hopefully this Maestro doesn't ruin the plan of Ash to go up and go for the push. Shots come out. Capital Fire burns Clash towards the staircase. Clash going for the shield drop to go for the swing, but she's actually going to be able to get one pick and then go down herself. Mello is there. It's close. But Vacuna is going to have to get a pick herself. But no, Maluna gets it. This is what you want to see. You're seeing these great plays, but it's becoming a 2v3. There's not a lot of chance left. There's a minute left. Castle's position has been found. He's got to be in trouble.
It's certainly not going to be looking easy. ENISORAIL, this is the closest round they've had yet. The diffuser gets planted as now Valid Unit's going to switch the time bank in their favor. There's Mello with another kill. Smarty, the player in the clutch in round 1, now down. It's all up to the final player of Yelvis. Yelvis in a 1v2. It's a similar situation we've seen before. Mello, low HP, 5-0, as well as Vacuna, who's at 3-0. Both players undying so far, and it'll stay that way, Star Drago, as they secure their third.
They've set themselves up for a good chance of victory, but they've also put a lot of time and effort into what I'm gonna say could be their downfall. Timeout, perfectly well called here. Set the strat ahead of time. Make sure that you're getting this band pace to its fullest now. Looking at the players, what's standing out to you so far?
And so far, we're certainly looking at these players over a valid unit, right? You got two players still who have not died once. A ridiculous scoreline to be putting themselves at. Over on the other side, I mean, you've got some players who've gotten kills, right? Smarty, Cowian, and Yelwist all having 2 kills on the board. Not a terrible number. Unfortunately, there's just not enough firepower to be able to take these rounds. And this rail, they're making them relatively close. There's been 2 rounds now where it's down to a 2v1. However, when it comes to being able to take these rounds, they gotta start to swap it up. We're halfway through the first half. You gotta start to kind of make some adjustments.
I hear what you're saying, but let's see if the bands and the players hear what you're saying as well. As Clash and Deimos now removed, the 6 operators are gone, or Bandit, Mira, Clash. So shields and lines of sight are cut off for the defense this time. Mira being such a game-changing operator, removing her is going to hurt. But on the same side, you've got 2 hard breachers gone and Deimos. Deimos does have certain replacements, so Solid Snake can fill that position. Losing Ace and Thermite means you've got only Habana for true range. But you also have the fact of they should be expecting only to be using melee mute to try and stop your push from now on. You can truly go for complete challenges here. Impact tricks, stopping as many things to try to open those hatches as you can. You could bring a kite, but as you can see it now, this team is ready and kill hungry as always. I'm excited to see what comes from the attackers, but I'm going to ask you, what do you think about bringing Scopos and a Goyo for this map?
I mean, I think it'll be a nice change up, right? Might be the curveball needed to be able to take valid unit into a little bit of a weirder situation. And it's Sorrel. Let's see how this adaptation will affect them. And we're going to get right underway. Round is going to be able to start up ASAP. And as of now, we are just going to have to bide our time. What do you think, Star Dragon? Is there hope for this NSRL roster?
You always know there is. You just gotta try and find the gap and go for that positioning. Something though is amiss right now. If you've not realized it as well, a lot of spawn picks have started, but nobody's actually committed. Right now, Vakuna is waiting, but Smarty's here in bedroom as well. So it's whoever's gonna find this player and ruin the strat. It only takes the fact that there's 2 people roaming the top floor, 2 people on first floor, one being in garage storage, that is Sami. And if she can just slowly rotate around to get a pick, that could be huge. But unfortunate, Twitch with the F2, there was a reason this gun was nerfed out of existence. It's because it's too strong when it's actually able to be used. But as Smarty's going to get the flank off and get the kill, he's going to be able to get one of his own. For now, though, it's a 3v4. That Ram utility is going to open up the floor quickly. 2 minutes, and I'm actually concerned about this team now. We've seen them fall apart with less.
I think overall, valid units still in this man advantage. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think this is like something that has just been every single round now. There's never been a single time where ENISORAIL has been able to have that player advantage against valid unit, and that's something that you really do have to work against, as valid unit has just been so proactive around the map. So currently, I mean, you've taken down Tile, who's currently got the most deaths on the team. They haven't been afraid to be the sacrificial lamb for the rest of the team to rally behind. But as Mello standing across this corner could maybe make something happen. Not just yet. Just waiting, playing the time. And Bullseye, a nice angle trying to hold. There's the shots. There's the equalizer. Smarty taking down Mello. First death of the game. It's going to be to Smarty.
Ooh, and there's Smarty getting the triple kill to enter in. He's only going to get 2 more and he can go for the ace, but as felt he's going to be close. Cohen's going to be there. I jinxed Royal Joyce as well, so that's unfortunate. No ace for Smarty, but here's the thing. That constant people's going to be giving him the position. He's going to have to try and bait and isolate these ones. He knows the general idea of where people are. The calls have come through, but he can't commit to anything. 20 seconds left. It does look like this round will finally go back to these attackers. But will the defense just chalk it up now? That's all the questions going to be asked as that last fire extinguisher is going to go off. 3 seconds left. KD is saved. Unfortunate, but that round goes to the defenders. The comeback is starting.
Yeah, it is now 3-1. Seems like a tech pause may be in order. Cowian calling one for them.
We'll come
But
back to our lovely faces now.
yeah,
So,
who knows? Maybe that was the reason that they ended up losing the round. Had to, deal with some technical issues. Couldn't get it done within the round itself. Ended up having to, lose one. But there is still that 2-round advantage coming for them. So there's a good chance, Star Drago, that they will be able to maintain this lead if they can get everything taken care of. But right now, they are just going to be waiting for at least the time being.
well, that's one of the things you got to remember about technical pauses and stuff like that. One, you have that 30 seconds at the end of round where you can just be like, hey, impromptu tactical timeout. If we have to fix it, we fix it now. You can leave the server, come back in. If your teammate's willing to try and stay alive long enough, great help. But in the idea of actually having to use a technical pause, you normally want to say that for something bigger. You only have a couple minutes to actually get everything resolved. And if a second props up, you may miss a round, which is even more devastating for certain teams. So don't forget, you've got to be able to check your mouse. You've got to be able to watch your players, make sure that their mouses are on their hands and keyboards, and nobody's breaking anything through tilt, rage, or any other reason. Just use can happen to. But second of all, something that should make you a bit more happy is now that we're seeing this team get their first round into it, are you expecting good steamroll to come through? Are we about to see a 7-3 start?
I would I mean, I'd assume no, as yeah, the tech pause did come out. You'd have to imagine that was somewhat of an issue. But even that round, yes, there was a win, but it wasn't a very dominant win. It still looked very close, and I think either team could have won that in the end. So, yes, they took the advantage. Yes, they took the round win, but I think to say that that was a dominant win that's going to lead to a 7-3, it's pretty unlikely. Pretty unlikely for sure.
Oh, I can see that from their play styles, how the match is going on. But that just means we're in for some good siege at least. Hopefully we can go the distance. We might be able to see an OT, or we might end up seeing us have to go all the way to layer map 3, just watching this team fight out map back and forth. I will have to check quickly, but I do believe that this map pick was correctly used by Valid Unit, if I remember correctly. I think it was their map pick. Let me have a quick look see. Yep, Valid Unit's map pick. They chose attack first and OT defend. So Valid Unit showing a good class of strength on it, and hopefully going to be able to go into bank doing the same as what I'm expecting. It
Yeah.
does look like this break won't go on for too much longer. So, get out any other questions or comments you have right now. Let's hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think currently we're still going to be seeing Valid Unit at the forefront of this game. If they do start to turn it around, that might cause a couple issues for them, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do end up taking this 5-1, maybe 4-2. But I think overall they're looking very, very good. There's going to be a rehost actually, so it is going to be a little bit longer of a pause. We're going to have to wait. We're going to have to, see these players going back in, refreshing the leaderboards, all of that. So we're going right back on in soon, though, so we will just have to wait and see. But currently, I'm really expecting this game one to lean the way of Valid Unit. Game two, whether or not that's going to stay the same way, you kind of mentioned it, they're very similar maps, not identical, but they do play in a similar aspect. So it certainly does seem like Valid Unit might just have that opportunity to 2-0 real quick and easy to end off day one of championship weekend.
Very true. As we will be waiting a little bit longer, we'll head to a quick break and we'll catch you guys in a sec. And as we've come back into it, you get to see the setup, you get to see the lineup. It's 3-1, but ENISORAIL, or I'm just going to call it Rail for this part, have set themselves up a really good chance. One, they got an impromptu tactical timeout to give themselves a chat, but then they also had that break of, hey, we've got a momentum back. We've knocked them off a chance with a little bit of nerves, meaning that we get to see the most out of this match going forward now.
It is a favorable position to say the least over at the Valid unit, but as ENISORAIL dealing with some tech issues, going to be able to reset, restart, all that. And we're getting right back on in. The action phase is upon us. How will Valid unit like to approach? We'll have to wait and see, but currently, we're towards the end of the first half. This is going to be 2 more rounds, and if they can take 2, they're certainly going to be setting themselves up for success. If it's only 1, that's still favorable. If it does go down, equalizes at 3-3, it's not the end of the world, but it certainly would be unfortunate to lose all of the momentum you've gathered after going up 3-0.
Oh, well, I just want to say Miller's going to actually get popped here. No, Smarty's actually going to get Bakuna, which is kind of nuts too. If anybody had any idea of where that shot came from, you understand why that was such a surprise. I was expecting Mello to be the one to get tagged here, but by Youst, and it didn't happen, meaning that this team is setting themselves for victory, but also setting themselves up in the long run to be playing that defensive hold. Removing a post plant operator like Grim is such a strong moment, but then you've got this point coming forward now. They have so much utility of Fists getting the shots onto Makrits. I'm caster cursing this today. It's so good, but that also means they've got to know that angle is covered. Construction is not safe for the cross, but a player might try to keep going for it. Whether it's going to be Smarty or Cohen, we're going to have to wait and see.
It's so far an interesting angle to say the least. Very, very tight, and so far. And it's a rail going to be going down. Tile taking down the top frag on the lobby. Smarty, and there's the equalizer. Tile taking their leave as Bullseye will send them down to the grave. Over towards the 3v3, and the damage being dealt. Bullseye barely able to get away, weathering the storm dealt behind them. As now it is really nice from Mello to be unwavering in his aggression, looking to play offensive, still pushing forward. It's rolls going in, looking to try and deliver some kind of shots, but the ammunition gets reloaded.
Shots out, just gotta wait a little bit. The snake call goes out so he knows exactly where 2 of the players are. He gives the call to one of them, hey, just watch out, one's playing close lockers. Go for the swing, go for the chance, but it's not going to be an end-all, be-all. They know they have to go for a push. They know they've got to wait for the smoke, bait the shots. He does spot the gun, jumps in, walks up. Fitzy gets one. Now it's a 2v2. They've got the angle, but the Fuser cannot go without challenge here. And it's been dropped on the master bed. Capitão's call out is being known. His location is being shared. Bullseye has the gun. He just shoots him through the couch, though, because Fitzy doesn't have to worry. He's got the chance to go for it. I gotta love it when that happens, but it's so unfortunate. You make way too much noise when you hit the floor, and just moving 2 inches, you give away everything.
A phenomenal position to be at, to say the least. Star Dragos, now Valid unit, puts themselves up 4-1. Final round of the half, and we come on in some more compositions all around for both teams. As Valid unit, let's see how this final round will be played out. Do we expect them to go in super offensively, or will we be getting another? I mean, actually, this time was one of the first rounds, I believe, that they did actually not find that first kill. It was down to a 4v4 very quickly. However, it was, I believe, the first time that they didn't find the elimination before their opponents.
I do believe you're right, actually. This was the first time where Einsol got the shot first, but they just weren't able to keep on to the man advantage. The moment people started going band for band, losing their footing, it all fell down. But for now, we do get to see Thorn, Scopos, Fenrir, Mute, and Aruni come back into play. So I'm expecting a lot more to come out from this team, especially with this being their last defensive round. A 4-2 split is the best hope they can have, especially on a map like Clubhouse. That's going to be tough.
This is going to just be a bit of aggression going the way of Cowie and taking down Tile instantaneously. 2 minutes and 47 seconds, and they already find the first kill onto one of the real performers for this Valid unit roster is now sending themselves inside, looking to try and play deep. Won't be able to make a whole ton off the back, but currently just getting their way creeping inside. Valid unit having this approach nicely done though from Bullseye to take down Fitzy.
It's good. We're finally getting into that situation where the team's warming up, but it might be a bit on the late side. 4-2 split going into this, or 5-1. 2v5, we've seen it be winnable, whether that be isolation or using every utility you have. It's close, and with that smoke canister, sorry, that Maverick canister still having a lot left in the pocket, means that they can't just blindly forget about the wall. They're still going to be going for the attempt, but as he gets red, Smarty's Fenrir Gut's going to give away the location of Mello. Now it's all to Bakuna. Maverick does not know exactly where it is, but he has a good idea. Keeps looking for the shots, but he's just baiting the Fenrir Gut out, waiting, trying to isolate his ones. But as you could say before, these teams are playing it safe now. They're relocating back to site, holding choke points, making sure angles are cut off. There's 3 people in this garage walkway. If you go for the peak, you could end up losing your life without checking it. Not enough intel. He's going to lose a lot of HP for it. Tries to jiggle the shots. Does not know about the Asami being down below. And Bullseye's going to get the shot to finish it.
A flawless round to close out the first half of map 1. A very nice round to end off. ENISORAIL going to be able to put themselves in a winnable position. However, Valid unit, what will this look like? Can they try and change it up? We will just have to wait and see. But so far, it is not going to be favorable by any means over for the ENISORAIL roster. They're down 2 rounds, going to have to climb back. And yes, they had a nice showing towards the end of this half, taking a round on round 4 and on round 6. But they are going to have to completely change up the pace if they want to take this game.
Oh, 4-2 split. We do have another quick timeout to be called. But this time, I think it's going to be a wee bit different. Not technical break yet. It's just the players getting settled, going to be getting everything quickly sorted, resolved, anything like that. It shouldn't be too long. So, I'm going to ask you a bit of a quick question. When it comes to moments like this, because they get the 2-minute tactical break, of course, get to do the switch over, get to prep yourselves. It's in the rules. They get 2 minutes. All they get for that 2-minute tactical break of, hey, switch over's happened. Use this, communicate, prep yourselves heading into the first round of your attack, their defense. It's good for the teams, it's good for us. But what are you expecting these teams to do here, Terry? Is there anything you think they could specifically say to themselves to help win? Because they got that final defense. 4-2 split, great start, but how strong can their attack be on Clubhouse, which isn't their map pick?
I mean, one would have to imagine a lot of it is going to come down to trusting your teammates. Being able to play off of one another is a really important skill that you do need to develop as players. And hopefully, they'll be able to be doing a little bit more of that, right? We saw a lot of kills just kind of converting without any issues being pulled forth. So, I'd enjoy to see maybe some more kind of collaboration on both sides of the lobby, but whether or not that will be the case, we will just have to wait and see. As there's a massive chance, it will just come down to that gunplay, right? Who fires first? Who fires better? That could mean a lot for this game coming up.
Well, you're right, but that the players are using those 2 minutes to their fullest. I can already see some of them chatting, wanting to get back into the momentum of it, but for their own good. One, if we do go the distance, every time we have these breaks during the rollovers, the switchovers, they'll be thankful for that 2 seconds of rest where their brain doesn't have to be like trigger finger, trigger finger, trigger finger. It's so important now, and it's going to keep getting even more important about this factor of, hey, we're on Clubhouse. We're heading back into it now in just a second. Kaid's not bad. You have Thermite and Capital removed from the board. You have Bandit and Mirror still going, showing how strong those two are for defense. I'm kind of a bit worried going into this for the side of ENISORAIL, but we're just going to have to start it and load in. So I'm going to ask you as we head to basement now, are you excited?
I think so. I think so. Hopefully, we'll be seeing a good game conclude for both teams involved. But as of now, I mean, I don't know. I couldn't really give you too much of a description on how I think this is going to go down. I feel like both teams, it's really going to come down to, do they have that confidence coming into this? Is the mentals going to be prepared well? I I think overall though, the play that Valid Unit shows is just gonna be a little bit stronger, right? If I had to give you an estimate. So I'm gonna say it's gonna be a 7-3. That's what I'll go with. I'll go 7-3. As we enter on in, Valid Unit gonna already have Roll Juice going in, looking for some kind of information. That's the kill instantaneously, though. As Bullseye is going to be the one to shut them down, put them into the grave. And the equalizer instantly seen. It's Makizito who will fall to Tile. As already getting super aggressive. Fitzy goes down. HP dropping for Yelvis, but they still do stay alive. Continually be pushed to the brink. So far, Valid Unit unable to find that player. Equalizations, just gonna have to play around, and there's the kill. Smarty able to find it. The trade comes in. Yelvis down. Still, Vakuza going to be dropped to the floor. Tile in a 1v3. Not gonna be easy whatsoever. It certainly does seem like ENISORAIL has completely replenished themselves and put themselves in a position for a championship.
They have, but this is the point. I did say rush strats, I say rushes, I say anything aggressive can work, but we've seen Tile clutches up with an F2. This gun has less recoil, so it should be even more manageable, but those choke points being held from across map is exactly why this team was so feared going into this. Yes, a bit of a rocky start with their defense, but their attack, I was so happy to be wrong. Looking at the play 4-3, you still have a chance of getting your 7-3 right. But I'm going to believe we could get a 7-4 in the other direction. I'm excited to see what they can do going forward. Is there any operators you'd like to change from the defensive lineup, though?
I couldn't give you anything off the top of my head. I feel like there's going to be a lot of opportunity for ENISORAIL to make that comeback, though. And I think Valid Unit, it's coming down to, will they be able to try and get what they accomplished on the first half, right? They were able to deliver those opening blows, securing kills early on without punish. This time, however, it's a very different game. ENISORAIL not having an easy workaround.
I could understand that, but I'm going to say I wish there was the Tachanka. I always wish there was the Tachanka. So don't fault me, don't fault anybody, but enjoy the best of what we're about to see, because as you can see the lineups, they're planning on stalling as hard as possible. And don't forget, Castle and Tide do have an interaction now. So on certain maps, like this one specifically, a Capital Collar can be redeployed to stop a Habana charge from being able to open up that. Oh, hold on. Okay, it's not going to happen. I thought I was about to see a spawn peak there from second floor windows, but it's not going to be the case.
Already just playing this round pretty slowly comparatively to what we've seen in previous. Mello looking to possibly take this first engagement once more. Had the rifle in hand, peeking up, shots dealt, damage seen. will only be their doom to fall. Mellow down to Smarty will be able to send them down to the grave, and it's already Valid Unit once more on the back foot. And when your captain is offline, it certainly is going to put ENISORAIL in high moral spirits.
That is a good thing, but as you can see, it's even better for Smarty with that confidence coming out in full force. Getting 2 picks for this team already. Valid Unit are going to have to fight a lot harder going forward. It's a 5v3. You have 3 defenders left spread out evenly enough where they can rotate back, but they're still having to fight so close to rotation holes and be prepared for any sort of nade or introduction where the mute's gonna not know about the flank coming through. Smarty gets another pick. There's the triple kill. It's so unlucky that it's all come down to roll Joyce as Fitzy got taken out earlier as well. It's a 5v1. He's got to prep and wait for it versus a Blackbeard of all things. That's, I'm going to say, evil and maniacal because Makazitz is there for the flank and covered his teammates.
It is already ENISORAIL making the comeback from 3-0 down all the way up to 4-4. It has now become anyone's game, but ENISORAIL is certainly looking to take this one in quick fashion, as they've already delivered 2 in a row. How much more can you possibly even ask for?
Well, I'm just going to have to ask for 2 things. Victory, a great siege match, and some Tachanka, please. Somebody give me my Tachanka fix. But it is 4-4, which is good to see, especially on a map like this. I'm going to say, quick question. Do you bring Tubro with the DMR or do you bring it with your sword?
Usually the DMR, I think it's a little bit more versatile when it comes to being able to find those kills early on within rounds. So personally, though, it is just kind of a situation of, I don't know. I feel like the momentum is really starting to shift, and I mean, maybe you'd even consider it to just be a massive relay after the timeout, right? That they were able to take for one of their players. They were able to get back on into the game, and ever since they've been a very different team.
I can agree with that. I can see exactly why you'd believe that. But I'm also just going to have to believe that we're going to see a small bit. We're going to see something go horribly wrong here. We're going to see a rush. Tuberal better succeed with this because the last time Bakuna did this, he got tapped by a Deimos. He's prepped for it, but no, he's actually choosing to retreat, bringing the C4 out. Can hear a player above, but it's enough of a hesitation where it's safety. It's keeping them locked out for now. So much free space, though. I'm going to say, one of the few things I'm surprised about this defending team is the fact that they're not using their roam presence to the full effectiveness I'm expecting. Like, Mellows and Blue Stairs, that's great. Nobody else is on the top floor, no Scopos, things like that. Even the fact that I'm going to say this, no Oryx. Yes, other operators can be strong for this sort of stuff, but you want the challenge of having somebody upstairs at least enough to either deter, waste time, and cause enough problems. Because look, it's 2 minutes, whole top floor cleared, first floor basically cleared as well, and you're turtling on site.
Yeah, it is looking like ENISORAIL, though. I mean, you look towards the arsenal they're currently packing. A lot of diversity. They got a couple rifles, a couple SMGs, a little bit of some everything which way. Valid Unit, on the other hand, could be rocking a lot of those SMGs coming into this. How that's going to be changing the pace, we'll have to bide our time. They get the angle. No damage dealt. Smarty attempting to go up to 12 kills will not be allowed just yet.
I love to hear you say that because with all these breach charges, the utility, the stuns, Capitao is not going to be brought, but he could have been so useful if he was. But now, Goyo's going to have to try and live up to that Brazilian name to save his team, as Havana's going to open that hatch. No impact check's going to be able to stop it, no Kai charge on it. So, it's going to get opened up without question. Only problem is there's 42 seconds left. You have to either go for a house drop or a combined diverse push. As you said before, they may have the guns and the firepower, but with 33 seconds, they don't have a lot of options. Charge comes out, Ace is ready for it. He runs away from C4 just in time, does spot the Kaid, but he isn't able to land shots for it. As Kaid hangs, just waiting there close. The shots come out, but it could not finish the job. Bullseye survives with 1 HP and a dream. Hatch drops come out. Mellow gets taken down by Cohen. The flank from Masco gets Verkuna. Roll Joyce getting one pick of his own as Tile gets the other, equalizing it to a 3v2. One man advantage to the side of Anzol, but they drop Bullseye for Twile. It's not a fair fight. Gets the chance for a revive though, so location is known. Flashbangs come out trying to find something, waiting for the cross, but Cohen's actually got to take a roll choice. It's all up to 12 with 1 HP and a dream to try and find his man. Tags Smarty, but it's not able to finish it just yet. Looking for the cross, he gets it, safely moves out of the way, but Cohen's there waiting. That L85 does so much damage per shot, it was more than enough to finish him with the first one.
And that'll do it. The lead now taken. ENISORAIL able to bring themselves up to 5. And Valid Units still unable to find an answer. Ever since the half swamp going up 4-2, it has been ENISORAIL's game to control. They're up 5-4. And it certainly does seem like they are going to be able to find game number 1. Despite this being their opponent's map pick, they're looking excessively good. And this excellence does not seem to be faltering whatsoever.
That is exactly right. But as Siege needs a bit of downtime, all the players need to think about ahead because they've just lost 4 back to back. You do not want to put that risk on yourselves when there's 2 rounds away from your victory and 1 round away from equalization or your advantage. So take the second, take the time, use it to your fullest extent, understanding that your opponents could do the exact same. So you got to call it when you need it. As you can see, Cohen and Smarty, 10 and 11. The couple breaks they've had, the couple seconds to just revamp themselves is working to their fullest right now. Melo's going to have to start using that full captain's hat and leading his team back to victory from the brink. It's close. We could see a 7-5, 7-4, but I think we might see overtime for map 1.
Yeah, that definitely could be the case. I don't expect Valid Unit to be able to take this without going into regulation. I'd imagine that if they win this, it's going to be going to overtime. If ENISORAIL wins this, they could possibly win it off of overtime as well, but I think there's a real chance they could also win this 4-7, 5-7 as well. Overall, they are looking very, very good. And Valid Unit, they haven't really been able to compete too much, right? That last round, ENISORAIL just ran down the clock to the very last second and were able to explode into position when necessary. Now, it did obviously get a little bit dicey towards the end, but overall, they were never really in a losing position.
All right, that is technically true. So, just trying to think of how's the best way of not giving the keys to success, but nudging the team in the right direction. Because if you look at it, there's no one answer solves all here. You're looking for a team to either force their positioning, try and go for victory, or start with a spawn peak early to try and get a victory themselves. Scopus is ready and waiting for it, sees the shield, the blitz, but forces cannot land the headshot and has to back away. Yeah, I did think he was going to try and force the gunfight, I'm not going to lie. But as you can see, 2 players here waiting on this blue staircase, one being Scopus, the other one being Asami. But I did mention, the roam game was weak. Now they've strengthened up, brought it back, and I'm looking forward to it.
Already commencing a bit of an offensive angle, right? You see Bullseye taking wide positioning over on the opposite side of this door. There's now Valid Unit. Gonna look for some kind of chance to put themselves in. And currently making a whole lot of noise. Smarty trying to redirect everyone possibly over towards the side as Valid Unit not going to make too many changes in the positioning. They're not going to fall for any bait. And so far, towards ENISORAIL, especially Yelvis, who's pushing down staircase, looking for some kind of chance to put themselves into this match further. It's going down. You see this NSRL squad, right? Multiple players doubled up on the staircase. Could possibly be able to have a shot onto Fitzy, who is going to be playing relatively close by.
You say relatively close by, that means the pressure's set. It's time. The time is now. Whether it comes down to the factor of a lot of time has been wasted just on the hypothesis that a player's upstairs, and the fact that there is a scopos, meaning that they can jump back and forth as they see fit. If you don't find that second body, it's a huge problem. And when Mello starts getting picks on the Smarty as well, that's a huge member of the team lost, especially the fact that it's a buck as well. While though waiting, looking for any sort of reinforcement he can give to his team here. He could drop down Oil Pit. He could distract just long enough for Mello to be able to go for the flank. But it's all on the timing here. They're prepped and ready. 37 seconds. They know at least one player is not on site. They don't know about the fact that it's actually two. Hopefully trying to go back to site now to immediately reinforce this.
Yeah, currently just playing aggressive. There's the kills converting as Tile's able to find one. Fitzy traded. And nice shots going in from Tile, not able to make too much happening. Grenades coming through to prolong an entrance into the doorway. However, Yell was still pushing forward, unfaltering in the aggression, looking to try and deal that punishing blow. But it is Tile to shut them down. 4-2. ENISORAIL, no more chances. And finally, this comeback will be found. Valid unit able to put up one for themselves on the half to put them back up 5-5 on the equalizer.
So close yet so far. Could not find the victory this time, but they'll have a chance at next. 5-5 though. I'm just trying to think of how do you want to handle this correctly, because they put on a lot of positioning for it, but they're not able to find the exact win yet. The pressure's on. They haven't got the formula yet. They've been getting close to reading their opponents. It's like reading two different languages. Once there'll be words that overlap, but they won't be the exact same. But now, though, it looks like their answer to solving that problem is bring Ace, Thatcher, Amari's still gonna be the one that throws me here. Deimos, and we get Sense. We'll see the 6 picks come out for the attack, but the defense is locked in their roster again. I do like the changes we've seen from them. I'm a bit upset over the adaptability just because they're focusing on the win comp, which is great. Bring strong operators, bring operators you know you can use. But in the case of have these operators been countered continuously enough? Yes. Is there an operator that can do something similar to their job that you'd feel more comfortable on? Maybe that could work for them. But with Kai and Grim now removed from the board, that defensive hold is going to be a lot more of a problem for this team.
Yeah, entering on in Valid unit looking for that 6th. Either team, whoever wins this goes up to match point. So it is definitely going to be one of the most imperative rounds for everyone invested. But ENISORAIL, they're starting off hot, right? They were able to find 3 rounds to start this half. Valid unit responding. But will they be able to say that the last round is a fluke? Will Valid unit fall? That's the objective ENISORAIL is looking for, and they gotta make it happen soon. And they're already putting themselves up on the front foot as Cowian able to find the opener. There's the trade as Makiso falls. They instantly get the bring back as it's Bullseye for the 2nd kill to put him up. It's now a 3v4. The diffuser already getting planted.
All roads lead to victory as the double shots coming from Fitzy, but Cohen gets one of his own, take out Kuna. But it's a 1v2. He's got to isolate his shots. One player of his team is stuck outside. The moment he pulls away too much, he could end up losing this just for getting caught outside. The timing on this, you know you're not safe, but you have to go for it. Keeping it a 2v2 is your best chance victory, especially when you've got time on your side. for now, as that clock ticks down, Asami has set up a really good defense, re-changing the entirety of the map so that they aren't expecting it so cleanly. But as the call comes out and the smoke grenade is heard, they've just got to find out how to deal with this castle hiding behind this barricade. But he's going to swing and get the pick. He gets down, luckily, by Cohen, though. But it's still a 1v1 now. HP advantage to both sides? Technically, yes. But intel definitely to the defenders. Valid unit know exactly where Cohen is. He's trying to find a player, spots his head, but he's not able to get the shot off. Yes, he is. And he gets it. Ein Soul taking a great shot at this.
Phenomenal work for the ENISORAIL squad to pull it back 6-5. One more win away from taking map number one on your opponent's map. Pick one round away from going to overtime. What will we see? We'll have to wait for it. But Valid Unit, they're swapping it up, taking some new characters under their position as these new locks come forth. I mean, right now, ENISORAIL, they gotta pull out all the stops. They gotta shut them down here and now. We saw Bullseye coming alive in this last one. And it certainly does beg the question, is this going to be a repeating theme?
I'm going to have to say yes, it is, because they're one away from winning. We are in that penultimate round. You've got one round for mistake, and then it's just overtime, back-to-back haymakers about to be thrown here. So, just looking, I'm trying to think of how the best way to put this is. We have these semi-structure wheel. We're not saying the clash be brought this time. They've chosen to swing towards a more aggressive playstyle with Ella, but also stall tactics by making sure to bring Fenrir and Castle. So, no rush strats and no safety charges. We're just going to have to wait and see how they handle this.
It is going to be difficult, especially for Valid Unit. Gotta imagine the mental is going to be dying. They're 4-1 at one point, and now they are already down at match point against them. Currently, though, just starting to progress. You look towards how ENISORAIL is approaching. They're getting pretty offensive, and Valid Unit nowhere in sight.
You say that, but I think they're hidden just the way they want to be. Looking at both teams' lineups, 2 minutes 30 left on the clock, but you have everybody alive. Asami's used most of the Kiva barriers. Ace has finally got the wall, but it was just barely taken out by the Jaeger, who chose to play close. So now we have a window to the sword, but holes work both ways. So you can shoot it back and forth. Fenrir getting close, giving the intel, but also giving away his position. The Asami does go down to that long-range shot from Bullseye with the open barrier. Vicuna waiting to hopefully try to catch one of these players on the rappel, but he's not going to be able to find much. Bitsy's going for the rotate. Here's about a player being close. This does work backwards, though. The moment a player is spotted out means that he could be taken out easily. Smarty does get the wallbang, takes out one. That's so unfortunate. Fitzy's doing great work on the roam here. He's cleared out Smarty from the strip. And it's just a challenge. Mako getting taken out by Roll Joyce. Here's the big problem. They've set themselves a great chance at holding this, but all of the open angles, the lack of communication, it's all becoming a big problem for the side of Real. And Valid Unit are just going to have to try to win with what they can. It's a 3v4. Real's got a good chance of this from having so many strong power positions. But Ella's about to get flashed out of position and fall. She gets one before going down. But no, she's going to survive it without too many questions. Monty and Cohen choosing to force their way on the side, trying to go for the fight. But it's all down to Cohen to try and save this round. The shots come out from the pistol. He's going to get one quickly, confirm the kill. But here comes the pinch from both sides. He's only got his pistol in hand, 16 shots, but he's got to be confident with it. But Fitzy's there, and the confidence is lost. So now with 6-6, we head to overtime for map 1.
Yeah, we are going the distance for map number 1. Valid Unit and ENISORAIL going back and forth, back and forth. You got to remember, Valid Unit was the one that picked this, and ENISORAIL did not care. They're still maintaining themselves. They're still keeping themselves composed, looking to challenge on every aspect. How will Valid Unit like to respond now that we are at the very verge of this game?
I'm excited for this. We actually get a really good chance this match to go the distance. So I'm just trying to think of Denari, Ella, Malusi, Asami, Valkyrie, a completely new lineup for the side of Valid Unit, actually, especially for the church defense. So pocket shot for the victory, maybe.
Certainly does seem as if this NSRL squad is going to have this chance right here, right now, to be able to find the comeback necessary after being down in the first half, coming back now at overtime. Valid Unit. Currently, we're looking towards Fitzy, who's on a tear, 11-8 on the other side. Smarty and Cowian both beating that with 15-6 as a KD. It really is just ridiculous, some of the strength these players are showing.
Hmm. Let's see. I wonder how this is going to work because they don't have a lot of options on the timing for it. But it could be. I'm taking that Denari shot. Hold on. One, two, three, four, five. That's guaranteed to be at least light. It's going to tag somebody down to 1 HP and calling it. I want to see somebody hit it, but Cohen actually gets a hit on the roll joist, and that's a huge pick. Ella's off the board. Damos has all operators able to get hunted down now. Mellows gets one on the Smarty. So quick equalization to 4v4.
It is not going to be looking good by any means, as currently just breaking these doors apart, looking to try and challenge inside. Smarty's down. Not going to be nearly the player you're wanting to be the first one eliminated. It's going with 12-8. A really nice KD to be on as entering the building. Looking for some kind of shots to take. Won't be available just yet, as we are going to be seeing this NSRL squad continually playing a little bit on the slower angle, but that'll do it. Cowie's in taking down Tile for the first kill to bring the player deficit back over for Valid Unit. Gonna have to try and replenish themselves without your double digits player, and Vakuna down. It's leaving it all in the hands of Mello and Fitzy to try and take this game back.
They can't play for man, but they can hopefully find some way into this fight. They're on Clubhouse, but Damos tracking down Valkyrie means that the call is going to come quick and fast. Waiting and trying to hold the off angles. Mel could use his team as bait, but he can only do that for so long as the timer's going to tick away. Bullseye's going to eat a little bit of damage and hit one last trap. So, as the swing comes out, Ace gets taken out finally by Fitzy. Using his teammate as bait was a good chance for it, but just using the audio cue was even better. 50 seconds remaining. They know it's a 3v2, a much better chance for victory, but also for the fact they have no utility left to try and claw this back. Damos may be able to give the call out and give the intel about where the players are, but he's got to make sure there's no other gadget utility that's going to hinder them. They know there's no mute, so it's just about reinforced walls stopping shots.
Currently sitting close. Looking shots fired. Unable to make the connection. Down to a 1v3. Moxito taking Mello down. Certainly seems like ENISORAIL are going to have this game all figured out. The diffuser getting planted on ahead. Fitzy looking to try and challenge. Still, though, staying composed. Shots firing. Unable to make too much of a connection just off the bat. Shots come in, but that's coming to take them down, as ENISORAIL will find the opener to overtime, putting themselves up 7-6 to start us off.
The second guess, that's so unfortunate. It just happened to be like, hey, couple seconds of hesitation. There might be a player coming on this corner. I should check first. Is that ahead? Yes, it is. Too late. It does happen. It does work. It's just that hesitation you got to think of ahead of time. For now, though, looking at it, I want to see Valid Unit go for the comeback here. But as there's no chance for a mistake. Valid Unit's attack has been stronger, but it lost them that defense because of their quick adaptability changed. They tried to go with a rat trap, pocket trap. It just didn't work. They cut off the angle, which was great. The lack of roam potential, though, lack of intel, still going to get them in trouble time and time again. So we'll just have to wait and see how this match goes. What's been your favorite part of the match so far? Just quickly, as we're going to be doing a wrap up in a second.
I mean, so far it really has just been the dominance both teams are showing, right? It has been a back and forth action between them as ENISORAIL going to come back from down 4-2 to start winning 6-7. Very close game in all aspects. I'd made a 6-7 joke before the stream started, and it's certainly going to be seeming as if that might have loomed towards how we're certainly getting involved. As I mean, at this point, Star Drago, it really could go either team's way as a valid unit now on their favorable side. We saw them winning up 4-2 in the attack earlier. Let's see how ENISORAIL will work the defense, though.
Exactly right. But as you can see, though, the roam presence this time from Real is being better. They're showing a stronger chance for it, and Yolt's choosing to be like, hey, I'm 3-10. I might as well go get a kill early and open up something for this team. Only problem is, that's an operator that has a passive ability. You kind of want to keep that person alive as long as possible till all his discs are charged before you try to swing it. Look at all that free intel as Ram finds the air, gets a little bit tagged for it, but it's not going to stop anything too far yet. As I said before, you got to be passive. No, you're going to try and get active. You're going to look to see what you can find. Snake being able to clear entire first floors because of his ability. And as you can see quickly, he's just got to try and find one more player hiding in basement on the staircase or something close. And he's free to do as he sees fit. And there he goes. First floor is clear. Doesn't know about second. Don't know about basement. But with quick drones, you can clear those areas without any questions. Hatch drops prepped, ready, waiting. Can we see a quick hatch drop to start us off for the first engagement? It's all going to come down to time.
It is all down to the time. Valid unit. Minute 40. ENISORAIL on the other side going to try and challenge. Will it be possible? One will just have to wait and see. As so far, Akuna working with their teammate, both playing close on the staircase, looking to possibly make a bit of a peek. Will they be able to find the succession? That kind of becomes the question one does have to deliberate. And right now, they're not able to find too much. As the overtime still just clicking down. Valid unit. They haven't really done this too much on their attacking side earlier when they just kind of worked the clock down, allowing for the final seconds to be taken. ENISORAIL, on the other hand, had a little bit more experience doing this type of play where they wait and bide their time until the very last moment to strike. And this time, grenade comes out, will be in the approximate direction. And there's the opener. ENISORAIL already finding success.
We're gonna have to see how close they can get. They're taking a little bit of stagger damage here, but they're trying to go for the swing. That F2 in hand. Miller gets one, can't get the second, but his teammate's there for the confirmation. Takuma is ready and waiting, but it's not gonna be enough to stop him. You can shoot him in the back as much as you want as Cohen gets downed as well. It's all up to Yulz to try and save this round, or they go to overtime match point, and that's going to be a difficult swing. He gets one, tries to go for the second, but he does not have the aim for it. Fitzy wins the fight, and that's also over to match point.
That will do it. That certainly is going to be rough for both squads, but as ENISORAIL takes to the attack, this is their favorable side. Valid unit's going to have to try and make some kind of adjustment, as this is certainly going to be a difficult round for both teams involved. But as we do have map 2 of Bank right around the corner, let's see who will be the one to come out on top.
The fact that we're likely to see Layer now with a true challenge of making it the whole way to Layer means that Bank's going to be intense. Bank should not be any sort of slouch fest, which is kind of insane because I've always taken it as a map where people choose to sandbag just so they go to map 3. But now that's no longer an option. Putting it a second means that even if you lose it, you're guaranteed a third. or you're guaranteed to have a fight on your hands with just a 2-0. And that could be so heartbreaking to any team or any players. But now, though, we're going to have to see how they want to take this. Looking at the final operator lineups for the defense, you have Goyo, Fenrir, Lucy, Sami, and Denari. Looking at the attack as they are finally locked in, you have Deimos, Buck, Habana, Twitch, and Ace. You're set in stone. These are your final operators. These are your final bands that are gone. You've got Thermite removed, Capital, Grim, all gone. Spawn Pig's got to come out from this defense. But as you see, quick pot shots do come out. But it's only going to be giving away locations.
And it is not going to be looking ideal for the Valid Unit squad. They've only been able to deliver 2 rounds on this defensive side the entirety of this game. Will that change? I guess we'll have to wait and see. As so far, they are just playing very, very slow to open us off, trying to get a little bit of height advantage. Instantly dropping down, nothing to have to clear. Smarty able to get in super offensively.
He gets in super offensively, but how close are they going to meet? Right now, it's the thing again where I've said one player's roaming. You've got Mellow watching that blue staircase onto lounge, but everybody else on site. Turtle, not a great chance for the defensive part where they can't really contest too much. The Phantom pressure's not been working for them perfectly, but as Buck's going to start opening up angles, he might be able to find one of these players hiding in sight since a few walls are not reinforced.
Just gonna be a big opportunity. ENISORAIL putting themselves back up at 5-4, and it is, I guess, a DC.
That's so harsh, especially because most of the time's already gone. So they've just got to play it out as a 4v5. Damage may not have been done, but it's the rule of after 30 seconds, you just got to play it out, and that's the biggest problem now. Vancouver came back just in time, so he's going to be able to give a good amount of call-outs to his team. But with a minute left, they might be able to punish the 30-second meta here. They might be able to punish their first attempt to try and push the site with no deaths, no real contention, but all the intel. It just means pull utility, rush it as you can, gun it as you can. Try and keep them outside. 30 seconds to stall for as long as possible, burning all of that utility. The Asami barely being able to duck out of this. Fenrir God's now changing positions and calling out, forcing Cohen to be distracted as the Asami's just going to waste even more time facing these 2 operators before the pinch comes out. Cohen gets one, tags the Denari, removes him from the field, but Bullseye gets the flank and gets taken down. He's down but not out though. Roldress gets one of them artsy. And that's all she wrote. Mello helps clutch it out with the Asami that won't stop dancing. But a hard-fought victory is a very accurate statement. That's Clubhouse.
So very, very good game to say the least. But unfortunately, when it comes down to it, only one team can take map 1. We'll see whether or not that change up happens map 2. But bank. I mean, you got any predictions? Obviously, this first map was going to be the Valid Units pickup. So maybe we'll see them being able to exchange maps. Or maybe we will just get that 2-0. Who knows? What do you think, though?
So first off, this map being Valid Unit Pip, great start. Their attack was stronger on Clubhouse, which is the surprising factor. I'm hoping their defense is actually going to be stronger since that's where they're heading to. If not, though, I could see us going map 3 very quickly. Just for the factor of, hey, Valid Unit now thinking that we have a bit of leeway now just to talk it out. But that all comes during the next section. Let's head to a quick break. Everyone gets some water. We'll catch you all in just a sec. Hello, welcome back. So, Clubhouse just happened. We're on to bank. We're gonna crash out if this does not go the way we're expecting. We've seen a lot of spawn peaks before. I'm waiting to see at least two to chunk of pistol spawn peaks just to recreate a couple majors in the past. But Cherry, what are you expecting?
What am I expecting? Well, I mean, off the top of my head, nothing too crazy. It is just going to be a normal game. Hopefully, we can hope we can give our, assumptions. And I mean, preferably, I feel like I'd like to see a little bit more of the evenness between the two teams, like we saw in that last game as it went overtime. It was very, very close throughout the entirety of it. But we will just have to wait and see.
Happy to hear you say that. We're only waiting a couple seconds. We'll be hopping in. So, first off, Bank. A defensive favorite map that's been in Siege for a long time. It's been worked a couple times to help with the spawn peaking problem, run up problem. Now there's less of a chance to be able to do certain things. Certain operators, though, have been altered to interact with Bank differently, such as the fact of Scopos. If he goes for the jump out, he can't switch back to his original body that's in the building without finding somewhere safer to do it, or at least being within a certain amount of time as he's jumped out. Otherwise, you have to deal with Clash being an absolute menace. I think she should be barred from this map as a whole, just me. But Ace and Asami finally in a Asami ban comes out and removes her from play for now. Till we get to see that role swap, who else would you like to see banned? Maybe on that tertiary operator set.
I mean, particularly, there's nothing that comes to mind. I feel like there's definitely going to be something that I'm missing, but overall, I'm looking towards just like those standards, right? Those same comfort picks we saw in the last game might be the ideas these teams are going to look towards trying to lock in, as we are going to be seeing it coming through. It is a little bit different, right? You got a lot of different picks than what we saw in the previous game. So let's see how those are going to adapt into what we see in this current state.
I want to crash out. Now that we're going to Locker CCTV basement, we have Goyo, Ellis, Solus, Tuba, and Kaid. Where's my Tachanka? I was promised a Tachanka. I was promised a strong setup for Mira. We're not seeing Mira. It looks like Valid Unit are expecting the Mira ban to come forward. So they're just playing without it. And if Mira's not banned, they're probably going to go into full swing and use it to their fullest advantage. But we'll just have to wait and see how they handle it. With a quick question, though, who do you win this with?
Um, Yeah, I'm not totally sure on that one, but it is just going to be a little bit of an interesting state. So we had kind of mentioned before, it's a similar map to what we saw in map number one. Will it be the same scoreline? 4-2, 4-2. I mean, Valid Unit, they were able to secure a massive lead, opening us off on the attack. This time they're starting us off on the defense, which really was difficult for them. They were only able to secure, I believe, 3 rounds in the entirety of their defense on the map number one. Overall, it is going to be extremely, extremely difficult. Whether or not they're going to be able to change it up, that will be the question.
Oh, you're right about that, but as the shots to hunt this drone finally gets it, there's a lot of bullets wasted. The intel's already known. You know there's an Ella holding the open area. You've heard the gun, you've heard the shots. You know for a fact it's going to be a problem if they're not expecting it. Damos goes for the challenge. Melo's going to eat a little bit of damage, though. So, Sen's going to have to throw out some utility to try and get the coverage. Bitsy, though, gets at one, but Roll Joyce is refragged for it. Becomes a 4v4. Ella hiding in the corner, just waiting, hopefully going to try to catch the Blackbeard off sight. Twile waiting for it. Melo gets the pick on the Smarty. That's the Blackbeard finally finished off. The pit of the Solus worked so well, but that's a 3 operator scan for Deimos to be able to be used. He's only got 2 drones waiting and remaining, though. So for now, they're going to have to try and open this hatch, plan a little bit differently. They've got 6 can openers, but no EMPs. And with Kaid being on the board, it's going to be difficult.
Alrighty, you're losing Smarty. It's this was a player who was super, super proficient in your previous game. So now that they're off the board, certainly does limit the firepower brought to the table for this NSRL roster. They're going to have to try and reclaim some of the space that's been taken. But so far, Valid Unit looking good. Got a little bit of HP dropped for one of your players, mellowed down to around 40%, but not going to be the end of the world by any means. On the other side, Callan barely not topped off in terms of the HP, but let's see what they end up looking to try and play through. Already, bit of aggression seen towards the basement as Valid Units still just deliberating their options. There's the kill. Mellow shuts down the next, but the trade instantaneously coming through from Bullseye. Down to a 3v2. The player is getting picked off consistently. Another shot gets fired. Bullseye looking for the second on the round. Bakuna down to minimal HP. Still not taken down, and Fitzy finds one for their troubles. Bullseye only allowed to find one on the round as they go down, and that'll do it. Fitzy ends off, finds the double kill, and shuts down the ENISORAIL roster on round one.
I mean, this is the best way of hindsight. I don't know what the plan was there going into that in the last 30 seconds. One, they split off. Great diversion tactic. Make sure your teammates can get a frag when needed to. Go for the hatch trap, maybe distract the plant, can go down. Didn't go for the plant, went for the kill and ends up losing his life for it. But it was a problem. Oh, we apparently have a wrong. Oh, the settings of sites aren't locked, so that means they're not set to play around. It's fine. They can choose to play it out. Otherwise, you'd have another 20-minute break. Now, though, it does mean players are going to have to use their best function for this. We'll be able to keep track of it. We just need to make sure the players do not use that against. Thank them for being honest. It does happen, mistakes happen, playlists change, things like that. Just gotta remember. For now, we have Valkyrie, Warden, Aruni, Jaeger, and Castle coming forward. Castle's a really strong operator for this, but also for the fact that UMP's buff after last season is finally making him usable, where he can get around a lot of interesting tactics. So I want to see how these guys utilize Castle and how they utilize Aruni to the fullest extent, as she's going to be spawn peeking. And I've seen this go horribly wrong at the best of times, but it goes right. Barely misses the shot, though. That's so unfortunate. There's a player ready and waiting, having to retreat. Those unlucky, but it's a good start to the round. Getting some pressure, making sure that they're actually going to check and wait for it, with one of their own defenders hiding way on the first floor.
A Valid Unit certainly going to be on a nice start. Let's see if they will be able to reclaim the same start to game number 2 as they had in game 1, where they were able to go up 3-0. And Valid Unit, it is not going to be an easy game, to say it the least. They're sitting around, waiting, biding their time. ENISORAIL on the other side, still just holding back. As currently, look towards how this is played out. It is just going to be this Valid Unit squad taking a bit of a slow start. Still 5v5, but they're not giving anything. You see the shield coming through, trying to gain space. The Elvis gonna have a bit of an angle. I think they may have even spotted the shoulder of one of their opponents, as there's a shot through the smoke. Bakuna gets dropped instantly.
We were worried about it, but we weren't that worried. But now they've done a great chance to go for this. Going for the challenge here, though. Wild's going to get one. But Makito's there as well. Takes out Mellow, makes it a 2v4. As Rolljoyce is going to eat some damage trying to head back up to that second floor. He's not going to be able to get out of there successfully enough. People repelled on the window. Is going to get challenged here. But Monty's going to come up with that pressure factor and push Twile out of position again. It's a 4v2. The chance of the flank working out well is actually higher, but it's all down to that distraction timing. You can give a lot of call-outs for it, but without any security here, it's going to be a big problem. Shot's going to go out. Monty goes for it. Witch eating the damage finally gets taken out, but the Valkyrie gets caught on the door of Janitor, and Cohen chooses to go for the swing instead of finishing it. And that's all they wrote for that round. I'm going to say one thing that kind of surprised me about that setup. One, they win the round, they lose the round. They're not able to go for that focus yet on, hey, how do we challenge this? Do we make it sure that rounds played, or do we challenge it with just pure gun skill? They tried to set up with Strat with the Valkyrie being below, use the C4, just couldn't catch the Monty exactly right. So a lot of problems coming out.
It was tough to say the least, but a close round goes away of ENISORAIL off of Valid Unit, dying. Two players dropped at the very start, and ENISORAIL just completely taking advantage off of it, as now it is a little bit of a tighter game than we've seen before. ENISORAIL taking their first. Looking nice. Valid Unit gonna have to respond in kind, as it should be relatively simple. We will just have to wait and see.
I'm gonna say you're right about that. Just passive, waiting for it. It's gonna be slow on the burn this time. But we have to see how long can these players be able to work this up. We've seen them in the past try to slow things down, but they always get caught up in the worst case scenario. Don't get me wrong, things happen, things are weird. It's just taking 2 seconds. So I'm just trying to think about this. Let me run the whole stream through my thought process here so everyone can hear it. First off, Royal Joyce being the player that needs to be paying most attention as possible because of the fact it's a Legion. He's so good at keeping his life for it. Benner about to throw it away in Garage. In what I'm going to say is probably more aggressive positioning, which, don't get me wrong, it's a smart thing to do it, but it's risky. Everything you're up against is a really strong team, which, as we've seen, took you to 8-7 on Clubhouse. This isn't the kind of team where you want to be passive on it. And as all the multiple calls, scans, and picks come out, all that drone and intel, all those people repelled on the windows. This is the kind of chance where you just want to jump out the window and go for the swing. And I do believe Valkyrie might actually go for that chance in a second. Beehive's going to give away Saul's position. Legion's going to have to try and back up his teammate here. But it's all about waiting on it. The distraction comes out. Legion's pre-firing and Gridlock's hitting Legion mine. Comes down to 5v5. Royal Joyce makes it a 4v5 by taking out one player. Blackbeard's holding up in elevator, but it's not going to be quite enough for now. Benner gets caught on the flank, though, equalizing it to 4v4. A minute 35. It's just going to be a little bit different. You okay there, man? Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. We're good. We're good. Took a little bit, but we're good. Yeah, Valid Unit, they're making a nice entrance, and hopefully they'll be able to continue to really play this out, as it's a 3v3, and so far, ENISORAIL, they're just working nicely. Valid Unit, they're gonna have to deal with a little bit of information tactics found, and Fitzy dealing a little bit of damage, peppering it in, not too much to be concerned, but ENISORAIL, how will they try and make their way in? Because they do have 50 seconds. We've looked at them over on game one. They're playing super offensive structures that led to really, really slow-paced games. And as of now, it seems like they are going to attempt to do the same thing.
Well, 36 seconds, 3v3. They have to push site. They know site is majorly held by off angles. They know most of it is clear. They could just drop it and go for the hatch, but they don't know where Royal Joyce is. He was the last seen on the staircase, so he could be right in the middle of your plans. They do spot him. They go for the kill. Bullseye gets one with the long range angle, takes him down. Hatch drop comes out. Spots one player, spots the Maestro, aims for the shots but cannot find it. The Valkyrie's going for the flank. It's exactly what's needed. Tries to go for the pick, gets one down on the Bullseye. Has to rush for the kill on the Maestro, but it's not going to be fast enough for it. And that's all they wrote.
A nice round converted. You see these players playing just such a slow-paced game, but at the end, Valid Unit able to strike up from below and send them down. As ENISORAIL, despite picking up the round number two, it will be the momentum starting to shift back the way after Valid Unit, despite it crashing down last round. So a nice change. Let's see if ENISORAIL can respond.
I'm gonna say yes, but Valve Unit are looking to put this away. We've seen this team get their lead advantage on their attack last time. They had a very strong attack, regardless of how you decide to put it when it came to Clubhouse. But it's a little bit different for Bank. It's supposed to be strong defense, okay attack, take it to overtime if you have to, but just try and make your distance. If they can take a 4-2 split on this, I believe they could win it in regulation. If they can take a 5-1, don't get me wrong, I could see us just seeing quick switch over, one round, equal victory, done. But ENISORAIL has showed us that they can attack on this map just on specific sites. I'm hoping to see the best come out from this. Let's look for it.
Yeah, it is very, very close to, how this has been kind of progressing. We've seen consistent rounds going to that final player on each side. The clutches have been nice, but so far, Valid Unit just being able to scrape away a little bit more.
I'm gonna say exactly right for that one. Only question is, how much more can you actually give for it? We've seen this team time and again be able to push a lot of punishment through, but also be able to take it. So I'm just kind of expecting the best from that from them. God, just think about this. How did they want to plan this out? Because they've already pushed in. Damos only has 2 operators tracked. They've got no real questions to be asked. Just trying to clear everything as quickly as possible in the first 4. They didn't even check the second. I'm hoping to choose drones for it. As you can see, Blackbeard's already in open area. Normally this player here, he's just looking for it, face checking as much as he can. He's got the shield for protection to do that, but there's a lot of risk.
Yeah, Valid Unit just playing the time, and they're doing it relatively well. Damage dealt. Bullseye already put down to a little bit of difficult HP line, but they swap over, rifle in hand, trying to make something happen, and ENISORAIL still just poking and prodding their way on through. Looking to try and get underground to ASAP, as now a little bit of an information game. The drone converts and comes out. Won't be able to gather anything just yet. And ENISORAIL still trying to make some kind of moves across the map. But this Valid Unit still stands tall. This time bank still favoring them. As 5 players alive. Lots of opportunity to work around this. And that's the kill. Tile secures the elimination and finds their target is now just playing such a slow game, looking to try and make something happen. They go in. It's a game of cat and mouse, and that'll do it. Tile already down. Gets a little bit too aggressive, and they will fall for it. And this ENISORAIL sending that 4v4 right online.
A lot of utility still in the pocket as well. That's so unfortunate to lose a smoke like that. But it looks like they will get a kill of their own. Fitz confirms Cohen, and Smarty gets finished off with an impact. But Mel's holding the off angle, gets the shot, takes out Bullseye, all because he got body blocked by his own teammate. That's unfortunate, but now it's up to the Thatcher. We do have to switch from Thatcher's POV because I believe there's still a patch on it. So, gotta believe that he's gonna either try to win this clutch or not. He does take out Makito though, which is beautiful. Looking at the shots though, Roll Joyce is waiting above the hatch, and I don't know if that's going to be known. It sounds like it is. He barely spots the shoulders, gets the pick, and now it's Vicuna versus Makito. Last 1v1 clutch, TMRs in hand of both of them. Honestly, I believe Vicuna's, I can't remember the exact gun, it does shoot harder. Especially when it's on Maverick.
Oh,
If now
coming
Vicuna
in.
goes to the shots,
Oh
and he's going to be able to get
no!
it just before the plant gets out. All the unfortunate time sink for it, but he does clutch it out.
Barely able to scrape it away. Star Drago, that's a Valid Unit. Pulling away round number 4 as they allowed that time bank to just go down, and you gotta respect it. You gotta respect it. And Valid Unit, they just sent them down, and it is rough to say the least. But at this point, ENISORAIL, It's looking very similar to game number one. A 3-1 scoreline repeats itself. And Israel, though, this was where they were able to pull it back slightly, right? We saw them taking their time and being able to force that 4-2 half. Will that be the same case, or will we be seeing Valid Unit to starting to pop off? That will kind of be what we see as there's 2 rounds remaining in this half. How will they try and play this out? That is the question.
Well, we're just going to have to believe they can because we've seen this team do so much with so little in the past. And looking at their lineups, I'm expecting so much more to come out of it. Whether you're expecting them to just try to go for the frags and go for the full sends, you kind of have to hope that they've got a better strategy in mind than just gunning it.
Yeah, at this point, ENISORAIL at a 1-3 scoreline. Valid Unit certainly looking nice, but with the current state of the game, it's too close to call despite being at this relatively heavily favored scoreline. It is a game that is not judged based off the numbers, but more so based off of how the plays actually went. And I think a lot of these rounds really could be converted for ENISORAIL. It's just these little things going the way of Valid Unit. So how they'll be able to change it up, will they be able to change it up? That's going to be what we'll look at in round number 5, as it does come underway right about now. It is still anyone's game who will take it away. At this point, Starker to Drago, it really is Valid Unit in the driver's seat, especially off of a map 1 victory. But as we head on to Bank, this wasn't their map pick, and it is showing it as Fitzy's already down.
The actual destruction, it's becoming the fact that yes, Valdian may have won the 3 rounds, but was that just Einsoul getting used to their opponent's playstyle and stamina for this, forcing them to try and win it? Because again, not all of them were so consistently enough to be victories. Coming down to the last man, coming down to the last second of rush, a lot of times there was a much better chance of it going in the favor of ENISORAIL. Again, being on attack for a map like Bank, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't want to do that if I was playing ranked games. So, having to do it in a competitive tournament like the Axis Series, it's gonna be tough because these teams know how to play and they know how to read their opponents well. Capital Firebolts go out, does burn a little bit, but it's not gonna find its mark just yet. It's all gonna be about pushing that orc out of position as the plant starts to go down. Sense has got it. C4 comes up, but it doesn't land its mark. 5v3, now a 4v5. Luckily, Sense did get finished off the last second, but now we have a 2v3. It's just a collapse one after another. Makiro getting one, but here we come. Smarty's going to have to try to go for this clutch factor. It's not exactly working out well for them. They've had to use a lot for it. Smarty gets down through the wall bang of 12. It's doing work for it, but now it's in the 2v2. You've got the time on your side, but you don't have the man count unless the jump out came through. Exactly right. Now you have to wait and get the right read. He's going to try and stick it. Pros don't fake, but that's a problem when you need to. It's so unfortunate. He was so close as well.
It is really unfortunate. By all means, it is a sad, sad round for Valid Unit. They were able to push themselves up 2 rounds in a row, but unfortunately, that snowball instantaneously does dissipate as ENISORAIL is able to take one for their troubles and secure a little bit of a comeback. Now, Valid Unit, we have seen them significantly more proficient on their attack over on map number 1. Whether or not it will be the same scenario, that is kind of the question. But so far, ENISORAIL, they're keeping up. Whether or not that will continue as we are on the last round of the half, who knows? Obviously, last game we saw the 4-2. This time, maybe it will be the same. Maybe we'll see go all equal Stevens. But I don't know. You have any kind of predictions, Star Drago?
Well, for predictions, I want to see a good victory. I want to see a good match. I want to see us go to overtime. But for now, I'm looking at Roll Joyce specifically. I want to see him start popping off again for his team. If not, I want to see Smarty waking up and try to send this for theirs. It's the issue of Valid Unit versus Einsoul. We've seen this be a 4-2 before, and we've seen a comeback happen. So, I would like to see in the case of Valid Unit take this in a 4-2. Einsoul goes to the comeback. We go to OT, or it goes 3-3, and we see Einsoul. We see Real just take it. We see them take them to the shipping yard and go the whole distance. As the 6 picks is locked in, this is our final defensive half, the final attacking half now for Einsoul. So we have Capital, Blackbeard, I love to say the click drone here as Bravo's here, but with the fact that we've got Ram and Snake as well, most of this map is about to cut off very easily. Then is going to get found so quickly hiding below that, but we'll see what comes to work first.
So far, it is just going to be Valid Unit looking to try and hit that defense hard. ENISORAIL currently playing a slow game, but that's a nice bit of damage. Mellow already put to the brink. And a finishing with the grenade leaves them down and dusted. Valid Unit leaving that first blood over to ENISORAIL to enter on the final round, as especially when it is your top frag, the one to fall, that is rough. And Bullseye, no stopping them in sight. Already a second kill converted. Kyle's going to be able to start to make some magic with some proficiency, finding one, reload, converting, looking for the shots, looking for the angles, but unfortunately won't be able to make it happen. But Tile still does, and despite going down at the opening, Valid Unit makes the comeback down to a 2v2. Tile will fall in the end. Let's see. Valid Unit and ENISORAIL, both teams down to 2 players. Bullseye has been on a tear this game with 8 kills. But is that going to be enough to put Valid Unit in the grave?
It's so close, so unfortunate. So much has happened yet. The pressure is on. You have a 2v2, a winnable situation, but equal only for the defense. Just because there's so much intel needed. Yes, you may have the time to take your drone out and do so much work, but when you're up against somebody like a Solus as well, he's going to be able to hunt you down and just ping all your locations, stop you from being able to get away with so much traps. Snake needs to be able to use his gadgets smartly into the fullest of its ability, which he does. Finds the Solus, gives the call out, and pushes her out of position. Don't forget, Snake has 2 abilities. He's got the ability to go and reclaim utility. So he can go to any of the bodies he sees on the map where people have died, drop utility from his friends or his foes, pick up things he specifically requests and needs, such as nades, breaching charges, even if the operator didn't have that, and use it to the fullest. Oh, quick shots, barely missing Cohen's head. That's where Fitzy comes out in his strongest. As Bullseye's looking for his utility, he's going to try and clear corners and angles, looking for wherever the player is on A, finds the general gist of it. He looks for the shots. Problem is, he doesn't know about the flank either coming from behind. So, as you can see, the quiet shots. But Cohen's ready and prepared as Bullseye finishes off Hakuna, and that's all they wrote.
Tragedy strikes as despite being up 3-1, that 2 rounds in a row converts. ENISORAIL will enter onto the defensive side. Valid Unit, they're not out of the woods just yet. Despite a map 1 win, they go onto their opponent's map pick, and it is certainly looking rough. As you look towards this kill leaderboard, already at 9 kills for Bullseye, a really proficient game from them, to say the least, at almost a 2.0 KD.
Ooh, they put themselves up for a lot, but it's that timing they have now. They have to make a lot more than they want to. They've installed time and again. But yeah, Fitzy's right. That Maestro was horrendous. Just looking at that loadout. No gun, no sight, no nothing. Iron sight suppressor. Disgusting. But it worked. 3-3. They've got their scheduled timeout for 2 minutes. They've just got to think about this in a different light. One, what do you think you could do better on bank? Is there any tips or tricks you'd give to any time you're playing the map?
I mean, not really. I think it's going to come down a lot less to the map than it is just going to be, can they shoot better than their opponents? And so far, ENISORAIL is just shooting like nothing is even, like nothing's holding them back. They got no restraint on that firepower, and it's certainly something that you really do look for in a team. So definitely not going to be underestimating these guys moving forward. They're playing really hot today.
I can agree with that. After what we've seen from them, I'm looking forward to how much they change going forward, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do with what we've seen. Only problem comes out though, how do you make the most of it? You've been challenged time and again. You've tried to be the punishing players, but you're against a good team, a good roster filled with skilled individuals who are going to be willing to try and challenge you. For now, though, um, Also, sorry, I just read in chat as well. So Twitch, no, it's been fixed, but it's a partial fix for the Thatcher bug. It's only 50-50. It still happens. Even on email, it happened last week. So understandably, a small indie dev team, a relatively newish game. CJX has only been out a couple months. Don't worry about it too much. But for now, as we go into this ban phase, we've got Mira and Grim removed. I'm expecting an Asami, but from what we've seen, the better ban is going to be on the attack side. Removing something of valid unit strength has to go. Honestly, removing Habana or Ace is probably going to be the best shout.
I mean, we are going to get right underway. Let's see what they do end up in store for us. Valid unit, this was their favorable half, taking to the attack, but they chose to defend first on this map. This was their opponent's map pick, and they said, we want to defend. How does that mean that this will possibly look to? I don't know. I don't know, but it is definitely going to be a rough game to say the least for both teams. If this goes into overtime, you're playing a lot of games. You're playing a whole lot, and I mean, overall, you got to imagine that that is going to start to catch up to them, right? The amount of pressure that's been building up, especially, might be causing some mistakes, and overall, it is going to be difficult.
My boy's here. I'm so happy. If anyone hadn't noticed, Tachanka was brought for this one, so that is good to see. Only problem is, though, how do you make the most of this? You've spent a lot of time, a lot of energy looking for it, but you don't have the ability to just blindly shoot into the dark room. You have Tachanka, Warden, Thorn, Oryx, and Bullseye on Salt. That means if you're on Solace, things are about to get a bit saucy, a bit spicy for the pepper right now. So we need to see if the right sick picks come out. And it looks like they're set up for Twitch, Snake, Lion, Thatcher, and Habana. Be careful. Just watch out because it does mean Snake's going to be able to cut off a lot of angles and solve a lot more problems. As you can see, nothing on site. He knows there's nobody close, but he's just out of range of the Solace. It's a huge problem for this team. Oh, she gets pinged by the Lion. That's unfortunate.
Already heading on the way. ENISORAIL. Gonna have to deal with a lot of damage coming their way. It was valid a unit. Starting to siege underway. Gonna possibly look to play it towards the slow ground. Tile taking a bit of fall damage. Is now gathering a drone to clear the rest of the staircase, making sure there's nobody underneath, and as they are going to get all that information taken away, breaking the rest of this utility sent around. It's a very important round for both teams, right? This opener certainly does set a tone for how the rest of this match may perhaps play out, as Valid Unit going to be really looking forward to trying to win this one, right? In a 2-0 fashion, it certainly would be a nice way to demonstrate your prowess in the playoffs.
Exactly right. Looking for a good chance at sending it in your favor. Habana's still been being picked, don't forget. So Bulljoyce gets one ticket on that kit, so that's that Oryx off the board. Oryx is the surprising one. I expected him to be on the top floor, but if he's in basement, it's just better to get rid of him before he can even start anything. The problems we've seen from these teams need to get shut down right off the bat. Just trying to think of how you do this, because we've seen teams like this make so much work, but always get shut down in struggles. It's a big problem.
And as of now, it is just going to be a bit of a peak right underway. It's a 4v2, 4v1, and they might just end it off right here. There's a first as ruled down. Bullseye able to pick up one for their trouble. The diffuser getting planted, but it's Mellow to shut them down.
I've got to say, good work coming up from this team, and good use of Snake's utility. If you don't know exactly how it works, do spend some time looking at Kurio's channel or anybody else who's going to go over it. But quick rundown is, as you can guess, Solid Snake's ability is UAV, but also his ability to reclaim utility. Don't get me wrong, there's no Metal Gear here. It's just good support and good espionage. Ash, Snake, Habana, Thatcher, with Monty being chance of the sixth pick. Wamai, Aruni, Asami, Echo, and Thorn. We're going to upstairs, top floor. Let's see how the defense wants to handle this.
So now it is just going to be a little bit of a rough game for this ENISORAIL for losing that first round, especially in such dominant manner. They were already down to a 4v1 at some point. Yes, they took one, but ENISORAIL, they gotta build some kind of comeback, as Valid Unit certainly does off this first round. At least, obviously, this could have just been a very, very, I guess, speck of dust in the wind. But I mean, it certainly did seem like that might just be showing for what we could see, possibly, possibly move forward. I don't know. Right now, though, it is really looking good for Valid Unit as we are going to enter that attack phase.
I think you're exactly right about that. As we come close to this, we need to see the victory come out from this team. They've stuck themselves, I'm going to be honest. There's a couple things that we've seen be a problem for them. So I'm just kind of hoping that they've learned their lesson enough where they're prepped and ready for the victory chance and aren't just going to let everything slide by in a hopeless moment that could go all good.
As of now, Valid Unit is going to be looking to try and get something done, but with this in hand, right, they've looked good so far. You take a look at how their current season's been projecting with the 68% win rate like we looked at before. They're definitely not a team to look down upon by any means. As coming on through, we're just going to be seeing them start to pick up the pace. Looking nice, as of now, it is just going to be ENISORAIL, however, taking this shots on in. Concussion brought underway. There's Bullseye down, but not for long. That player advantage goes back over for ENISORAIL.
They've been able to do so much with it. It's just the problem of make that difference. Try to go for the swing, try to go for the shots. It's a 2v3. You're still outside the building, and you're going to have to try to force your way in to even try to get the diffuser. Your win con just changed completely. It's get in the building, either get the diffuser or go for the kills. And most likely, kills are always going to be the chance. Be there for the refrag potential. Use whatever drones you have on the field, because I doubt you have any in pocket. As you can see, they don't. They have 2 Habana pellets, 1 Ash charge, and their opponents have Echo drones. So much utility, so little time. And as the shots do come out, there will just eats a couple just from that little inner white staircase. He's got the long angle, but he's got to cover it. The Echo drone pings him from the ceiling just directly above him. There's a reason they took away the camouflage ability from it, and I get it completely. Issue is 30 seconds left. Bulldress does get one, takes out Smarty though. The ping comes out, but a quick refrag, unfortunately. But it's a 2v1. Intel is fully known. Wallbangs can come out. Headshots even better from Nakizo is going to be there to finish the job.
As of now, they're making their strides. It is 4-4, and it's ENISORAIL bringing it back. And despite that first round, this is now twice in this this game number 2 where we've seen that first round not actually mean anything. But we will just have to wait and see. As ENISORAIL, does that kind of imply they'll find that fifth? Will they be able to bounce back, or will we see a complete repeat of this first half and have that second or third round, convert over for the Valid Unit?
Well, there's a thing where you've always got to believe. You never give up until Gridlock starts singing and Mosley starts playing with the spiders. Because right now, we have a great chance for a comeback. We have a great chance to see us go to that map 3. 4-4, going band for band, shot for shot. Right now, they're Kebby, Twitch, Snake, Thatcher, and Monty are your operators for this attack. They can 6 pick as much as they want. But those defenders are locked in. Denari, Oryx, Valkyrie, Solus, and Smooth. Understanding that these 5 operators for the defense are going to set the precedence now because this was the last side option you had to bring where you could make that much of a change for a difference. Your style is set now. Your opponents will know it. They've worked their way in, they've motivated themselves, and they've started reading your book. Your play style is known. Let's see what changes they can do. I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite site on this map, Bank?
Probably that basement one. I think it's a little bit more tight corners where you're able to just kind of force your way on through. But how the teams will like to play it, who knows? And the Sorrel, though, they're looking good. They're looking hot. See what does end up transpiring. We are entering that final part of this game. We're already 2 rounds into the half. Nobody's able to maintain a lead. Valid unit just gonna have to cross their fingers and hope for some kind of swap up.
You're exactly right. But as they've kept the site a lot more open due to the orcs, that means a lot of the players are going to have to be more aware. As you can see, that Kebby Talbot is on 89%, meaning that she's got a lot more charges to come. So long range shot did come out. Cohen almost loses his head. Square has been taken. So Kebby and Blackbeard are pushed in, hit a Denari trap, but as you can see, Cohen and Bullseye both been removed from play. It's coming down to a 3v5 with a minute 30 left. This is definitely in the hands of the attackers. A shield counter in the pocket of Malkitso being orcs, but that long range angle means that you can't really rotate too much. Smarty add a bit of damage when he's trying to do the exact run that he wanted. But now, though, the pings are coming out, the utility is set. HP advantage definitely on the side of Valid Unit now.
Yeah, I mean, Valid Unit. They're taking such priority over this as 1 player already sent down and packing, needing that resurrection, and you're down to Moxito, who's also at a low HP line. That'll do it. Valid Unit maintains that lead, pulls it back up 5-4, as now only 2 rounds away from a win. ENISORAIL just barely tailing behind, so it is certainly anyone's game still. We'll have to wait and see what does inevitably take place in this next one, as this is going to be a real decider, right? Are we going 5-5 or are we seeing match point?
We don't know, but the timeout was necessary. I'm gonna be honest. Looking at how Valid Unit have been absolute units this time around, you've got to be expecting the best from them. 1, great gunplay. 2, even smarter moves. But 3, great communication and collapse. It's just gonna happen. For now, though, you've got to look for so much more to start this fight. Actually, I'm going to ask you a quick question. Looking at it, when it comes to your 6th pick operator, do you prefer to go with something as a counter to a specific operator or something that will help the team overall in the situation?
You'd imagine something that would take the team to a higher level is going to be a little bit more prioritized, as when you get that counter pick to try and challenge a specific agent on the other side, yes, it is going to be able to maybe shut them down for the most part, but there's still 4 more players you're looking at, especially in a professional setting like what we're seeing tonight. It really is that team effort that matters most. So ENISORAIL, they're dealing with a lot of that kind of push and pull, but Valid Unit, it is that teamwork that's bringing them up. So hopefully we'll see some more of that, as Valid Unit is looking good.
I'm happy to hear you say that. So, looking at it as a guideline, I'm expecting them to try and follow your lead. Because I do it for a much different reason when it comes to second. I do it because I see an operator of overwhelming force in the enemy team, and I've got to either counter that or try to force it so my teammates can be like, hey, bring a 1-man army unit operator such as Savannah or something like that, where it's like Thermite, where we need that extra support. If we lose our hard breacher, we're completely screwed. No, I do agree with you, but as that 6 picks are coming out, Glass for Twitch, set Blitz for Sense, means that we're here locked into position. We have Fenrir, Smoke, Wasami, and then you've got Tubrow and Vigil. Vigil does not have the Boss G shotgun. I am sad by this, but he's going to be ready and waiting. Which close on server, not seeing anybody actually in it. So she's gonna get to Kevin to make a phone call, just go for the rush. And this could be a great starting point for the chance of, hey, I don't have to fuse it. I don't have to worry about it too much. Burn some utility, go for the swing, go for the kill. Blue Stairs is clear. The only issue is Thatcher might hit his own utility here.
So far, playing slow, looking to try and bide their time as Valid Unit on this offensive side. Just going to look to try and make something out of nothing. Still, though, there's the kill. It's Vicuna to deliver the kill. It's another trade. It's a whole bloodbath across the map down to a 3v3 as you look toward Makiza and Yolvist both down on the other side, though. Tile and Vicuna off the board. Not the players you would have liked, especially for Valid Unit, as those were some of your main firepowers placed offline now. As how they're going to try and recuperate, that'll be the question. Shot converts and no damage seen. Valid Unit just looking to try and play out. Smoke screen comes alive and dropping from the high ground. Bullseye. Absolute absurdity, but Rolo going to be able to find their death as now ENISORAIL down to 2 players. The man advantage hits the way of Valid Unit.
Ooh, Valid Unit may have the man advantage, but we've seen the gun skill come out better. Marty looking for that ace clutch now. Baited his teammate for it, but as you can see, a 2 versus 1 with Smarty being the last man standing. Great chance for goes for the hatch drop, barely misses the shot, but cuts caught on a piece of. Oh, actually, I'm gonna ask you this question as the American. So, are your walls made out of wood, plaster, or brick?
As the American, oh
You
man.
know it's right.
As the American, I have no clue what that possibly could be implying.
Are your walls made out of something solid, or are they made out of cardboard?
No, they are made out of something solid.
Okay.
But that's also because my house is pretty old. So it is made out of brick. But yeah, it's
Okay.
pretty nice.
You're the
It's pretty
one
nice.
guy who can maybe not answer this question, but as you can see from Bank being in, I believe it's Switzerland. There's a Swiss bank, and that's where the problem comes of soft walls. I wasn't expecting it when we've seen so many
Oh.
indestructible features of this. It's that factor of lazy builders trying to make a quick buck and make it so that Valid Unit take this as a 7-4 match point, and that's game point as well. So, penultimate round, penultimate victory, all waiting on the table of the chef's mastery. We got to see how Smarty handles this. Let's see and believe. Is there any opportunity you'd
Actually,
like to change for the defense?
I would like to go back to it because I just realized that I didn't mess up. No, my basement, which I primarily reside in, is made of bricks. My most of my house is made of plaster. So we're mostly up to date with the rest of the world. Don't worry. Now,
You know,
I mean, whether or not that really impacts anything related to the game, not really, because we're in America. They're in what, Switzerland? You said very far away. You ever been?
oh, many times, especially in my dreams, but only for DreamHack 1 last year. For now, we've got to focus on 2 separate points. Monty's planning to go for the rush strat. Valid Unit doing this early, especially as a last attempt before they, get serious, is something they've got to think about in a different way. Because, as you can see, only operator that really can hurt or stop this push is that Cohen. It is that Clash. It has been a big thorn in their side of previous maps. We've seen it for Bank. Sorry, we've seen it for Clubhouse. But for Bank, this is the problem. They're going to have to use every part of their utility, every part of their brain sense for this. And as that bandit charge was perfectly placed, he actually was able to trick it and stop the Habanas and bait them into the shot. D4 comes out, just barely misses Monty's back, forcing it. But for now, he's going to have to play it a wee bit differently.
Right now, it is just going to be Valid Unit 1 away, and Tile looking to slam the door. As they continue to make this game go their way, this direction seems to be absolutely phenomenal for them, all the way down to a 5v2, 5v1, and it is just a complete masterclass, a flawless round converted as they send themselves home for the victory.
The complete collapse. You can't feel bad about that. That was a hard fought fight. But Yes, it is the day after Easter. It is Friday. It's not Friday the 13th, it's Friday the 10th. So when it comes to moments like this, you've just got to eat the chocolate you have left over from Easter. You have to just order your pizza, have a couple drinks, and take it to the chin. It was unfortunate. We had such a good match, especially on the first map, and now Bank coming through like that. It's tough, but it was a good fight. You cannot fault them for that.
Yeah, it was very, very good. Phenomenal work from everyone involved. That's going to bring this Valid unit up to the grand final, sending their opponents down to lowers. But that is going to do it from us here in the stream. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you to our phenomenal production teams, K and RXY, as we're going to be seeing you all tomorrow with some even more Axis Spring Series action. But that is going to be it from us here on the casting desk. See you all next time. Peace out.